Okay, so it's February 2nd, right?
Yeah.
February 2nd,
Mm-hmm.
which means it's officially time to start talking about E3. It's mere weeks away.
I thought you were going to say Game of the Year.
Mere months.
No.
no, not quite
Yeah,
yet.
let's do it.
So EA have decided to do their own thing at E3 2016, setting up their own little mini convention thing near the official show. Last year, Bethesda sort of, I don't know, they're like trendsetters in that respect. They broke the mold themselves by staging their own event. And they're going to do it again this year. They've decided to do their own little Bethesda presser and then a little sort of a little gameplay demo situation afterwards at E3 2016. So we're sort of wondering, I feel like we did this last year as well, to some acclaim. We did it with a certain degree of accomplishment. We're going to try and guess what they're going to show at E3 2016 this year. Bethesda's a weird company, right? Because Bethesda's a company where you're like, oh, you associate them with like one or two games, and then you go remind yourself of all the companies they've purchased or all the sort of older games that they have, and they've actually got this sort of large suite of stuff. So I've got a list of it here, but I'm just going to throw it out there first of all. Alexa, what do you think is a really good sure bet for what Bethesda are going to show at E3 2016?
Fallout DLC.
Yeah.
Big piles, giant piles of Fallout DLC.
Let's jump into the Fallout thing straight away then, okay? Because Fallout, there's two things that can happen, right? There's the Fallout DLC thing where we're going to expect it, right? Every time that like Skyrim, Oblivion, they've all had, and Fallout 3 as well, all had like lots of DLC attached to them. But I was looking back through when the games were released, thinking like there's no way they'll announce like Fallout 4 New Vegas or something like that, right? I was looking through it, and Oblivion was released in March 2006. Fallout 3 was out October 2008. So that's a pretty swift turnaround between the two of those. Fallout New Vegas then came out October 2010, so it was 2 years later. So that would be November, not this year, but the next year, you could maybe say. Skyrim came out a year after New Vegas, though. It was like boom, boom. It was like 3 years after the big Fallout, but it was like just a year after New Vegas. And then Fallout 4, the gap between that and Skyrim was actually quite large. That was 4 years. So what do you think are the outside chances, Mike, first of all, of their announcing a new Fallout that we'll see like next year?
I'd say they're low, but I don't know. That timeline has me kind of second guessing that opinion.
Yeah, because I kind of forgot that. I assumed that these things were like years and years apart because it had been like 7 years since we'd seen a new Fallout, numbered Fallout game. So,
well, you forget all the time that how long was Obsidian working on New Vegas while 3 was being
right?
made?
Okay, yeah. So
I wonder, that'd be crazy awesome if they had someone working on it, this entirely separate project the entire time, and then just did the 1-2 punch with Fallout 4 and whatever they do this year.
Yeah, I mean they have bunches of external studios doing this stuff. Like you were talking earlier, Machine Games. You're saying like they could. What are they working on? Like new Wolfenstein stuff?
Machine Games and Tango Gameworks. Like Tango Gameworks put out a big hiring call last year in June.
And
right. Shinji Mikami said that he was done directing after Evil Within, but I mean, they're working on something. And the Machine Games, if Wolfie was that popular, there's no way they're not going to do another one or something similar. So
super popular.
Very.
And the New Blood, I imagine, did pretty well for them last year.
Yeah.
Critically well received anyway. Yeah, is Shinji Mikami working on anything else that we know of?
Not that we know of. He said he was done directing, but I mean, that could also mean like the next game that comes out is like a Shinji Mikami production and he's like consulting or something. Yeah. Or he could have gone back on his word. If I were him, I mean, The Evil Within was okay.
Yeah.
So I would not want to end my directing career on that.
Good point.
Just,
go out on a winner. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a whole other studio that could be working on stuff. Let's dive into some of the ones that we know are probably going to be shown. Last year, we were very excited to see some, not footage, but a trailer for Dishonored 2, showing off the new protagonist and an exciting new sort of more futuristic version of the world that they had, or at least one that had progressed a little bit. Any Dishonored fans here?
Yeah.
Yeah? Both of you? Excellent. Excited about this one, Alexa?
Yeah. Also, Cara Ellison is working on the story in that game.
Oh, she is? God,
and
yeah, I
she's
forgot.
Like super smart. So sign me up.
That should be smashing. What about yourself, Mike?
Yeah, I love the first one. I remember beating that twice, like within the same weekend, just doing the stealth playthrough and then killing a lot of people. But 2 looked awesome. It's Elizabeth? No, Emily. Elizabeth is BioShock.
Yeah.
Now that you're playing as her, it's cool because you already have somewhat of a connection to her from the first Dishonored. Like the first Dishonored had a few problems, which they weren't many. I mean, I know I like the game more. We like the game more than a lot of people did, but hopefully they took the time to really iron out the wrinkles with how the game ended if you killed a lot of people, but I'm really excited for Dishonored 2.
And Definitive Edition came out, it was like September of last year, I feel like, somewhere then. So if you haven't had a chance to play it, this is a pretty good opportunity to do so. Fingers crossed I'll show some gameplay of that. Doom, another one that we're sort of waiting to see more of. They've
Doom.
They've been shopping it around and showing it places. What do you think about Doom?
Because it's gonna come and people are gonna like it.
Yeah.
But whether or not it's going to be like a super leaps and bounds ahead of the last one, I think we've yet to really see. Because it just sort of looks like more Doom, but prettier Doom.
Just without the Hello Kitty flashlight mod.
Yes.
I mean, eventually I'll just put that back in and we'll be good. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know how I feel about Doom. Like, I'm a big Doom fan. I love all three Doom. Like, I'm a big Quake fan. I'm just a big, massive id fan overall. And I don't know, there's something about this one. It's just like they're trying to split the difference between multiplayer and single player, and it's maybe not clicking with me, but we'll see. It's like, whenever they come out on the press conference, they're like, yeah, Doom, all the things you love. It's about gore and monsters and walking through corridors. And like, that's kind of not what Doom was. Like, that's on the face. When we look back at Doom, that's kind of like, oh yeah, that's what it looks like. And when you like look at it in terms of other first person shooters. But there was so much about Doom that was like about fear and about, it was about being scared and about being lost, which like, I feel like 3 completely missed out on. And well, they like tried to capture a bit, but didn't really. It was a bit more single player focused, which I hope this one does. This one looks a bit too like, yeah, I'm just killing motherfuckers, which is like kind of not what Doom really was. So we'll see, I guess. Elder Scrolls Online, any ESO fans here?
So that's
any ESO fans anywhere? You out there? Do you want something? Let us know in the comments.
That was during the announcement that for their press conference, earlier this week? Yesterday?
Pete Hines just tweeting things. Yeah.
Didn't they mention Elder Scrolls? I figured it would just be Elder Scrolls Online.
Dude, last year they had.
I thought so.
I think this down near the LA Convention Center. There is the sort of famous 3 buildings that always have like a big video game poster.
There was a big Elder Scrolls Online thing.
Yes,
and I feel like I think it's a testimony to what they announced, and that I can't remember what it was.
It wasn't Tamriel Unlimited by any chance, was it? The console because that did come out June of last year.
Yeah, they had announced that already, but I feel like they announced some like free to play smaller thing.
Right. Well, there you go. It was a great announcement. But so I wonder, like, that was a big thing for them, the fact that was around the same time as E3 that Tamriel Unlimited was sort of kicking off. Or I guess I probably had by the time E3 came around.
They had a lot of problems with like access and their subscription model when it first started coming out, and then they delayed. I think they delayed the console versions. I just think that I feel like they lost a lot of goodwill with that, and maybe they want to put that behind us. So if they're going to do an Elder Scrolls announcement, it has to be a game. I don't think anyone wants to hear about online anymore.
Yeah,
to be honest.
In the same sort of, I guess, realm of enjoying fantasy worlds, there was a lot of rumors before Fallout 4 as well that there was going to be some sort of a reveal of a Skyrim game ported to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One to current gen consoles. Does that interest you at this stage?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Yes and no.
Oh, you go first.
I have a permanent itch to play Skyrim. I loved Fallout 3, but Skyrim, I played so much of it, and then I remember I got it on PS3 as well, just to like start over and play anew with it. But
play that really good version.
Yeah, like the vast majority of the time, I don't feel the need to go back to remasters if they're not, like Resident Evil 0 is a different story. That's how many years old. But Skyrim, I would have no problem just. Oh, I have an excuse to play another 80 hours of it on my PS4. Yeah, I'd be all for that.
What's Skyrim with co-op?
That'd be.
Oh my!
I think I would just throw up out of it.
Alex is back on board.
Wait a minute. No, if they did Skyrim where it was like 2 people in the world, I think I could get behind that.
That'd be pretty dope, right? Yeah, something a little bit new. You need that, right, with your HD remake. Sometimes you just need a little bit of sprinkling of extra. Yeah. Just something a little bit. Maybe Cam and Seb will start a brand new show about that on a current gen console. Shout out to those gentlemen we missed from last year. A couple of more other sort of on the periphery things that might happen. We talked about Wolfenstein a little bit. We talked about, do you think they'll ever do another Evil Within or like dive back into that? I can't see that having that much cachet with people.
Yeah. If they do the Evil Within, it can't be a sequel. It can't be connected to the first one, because the first one was just so like, I don't know, they overpromised on like, it's Shinji Mikami, father of horror, Resident Evil, like here's all the scary stuff, and it didn't really, like it had some really good moments, but its treatment of sort of like craziness and like mental illness as like a scary thing was not really well done, and I feel like it only halfway delivered on that premise. So if they do an Evil Within, it has to be like, they could, but it has to be like a whole new thing. Okay, it can't be that.
Yeah. How about Wet?
What?
Wet 2.
Didn't we have this discussion last year?
Wet 2, Wetter.
You're hung up on Wet.
It's literally the dumbest video game name of all time. So I just want to see more of it. Wetter. Yeah, drenched.
Wetter.
Soaked.
Damp. Is damp more
moist?
Wet?
No,
People
wet or
hate that word.
Soaked.
damp
That
is
could
less
be-
than wet.
Yeah, you're right. It's a prequel.
Moist, damp.
It's an origin story.
Wet.
No wet. Don't go back to
No,
I'm all right with
I don't
that.
think
Chris
so.
Waters loves wet.
What?
I have an outside kind of appreciation for weird third-person action.
Yeah, but Chris Waters also likes Evolve a lot. So.
Oh no! Let's not get back in. Look, the scars from Game of the Year are still
fresh.
They're still fresh. So let's move on. And then the last one, I guess, that I have here, there was whenever I go back into sort of looking up at the history of Fallout, there was this ever-present narrative which ran for about 10 years about the rights over Fallout Online. And there was 3 different companies at one stage that thought they had it. Right now, Bethesda owns it again. There was a payout. There was it's all sort of clean and done now. And Bethesda now once again owns the rights to Fallout Online. Interplayer edited picture. So can you see that being something that might? Because it's weird. Because in a weird way, Elder Scrolls Online in your head, you'd imagine that should have been more successful. But do you think maybe Fallout could be the game that makes that more exciting?
Well, that's what I was just wondering. Elder Scrolls, before it released and everything, or before it went, whatever they're doing with it now, I thought that would be huge. I thought I would be into it. I played it. I didn't really like it that much, and I know a lot of people were kind of soured on it, but I don't know if there's enough momentum riding on Fallout 4's release and how good a lot of people thought it was to actually get people interested in Fallout Online. I think from the perspective of the history of, like you said, handing the rights around, I'd be interested to see what would happen with that. I don't necessarily know that I'd be interested in it from a player standpoint. So that's a huge non-answer, I know, but I don't think that would happen, but that'd be pretty cool to see.
Alexa, what do you think?
Could you use mods in Fallout Online? Because I think that would be pretty excellent. I am not going anywhere without my mod that turns the grenade into a baby.
That is an interesting aspect, though. It turns a grenade into a baby.
It turns there's one mod for PC where it turns the mini nuke into the baby gift from the beginning.
Okay,
or whatever it is, the baby. And so when you pull back and you shoot
baby
crying babies. You just shoot babies.
That is a very interesting aspect of what why Fallout works, is that it is a game that you can mod and obviously create a crazy way of playing it, but you do kind of play that game the way you want to play it. It's very much about your version of it.
Yeah.
And maybe an online thing is a bit too prescribed.
Dealing with other people, everyone wants to be the best wastelander. I
Right.
don't know. I can see that. I can see a positive in people maybe forming colonies and bands and gangs and stuff like that. And you can have gang wars. But then I also see it as people that are so used to playing Fallout for their way, maybe having a little bit of friction between the people that they want to play with.
Yeah.
And there'll be that one guy that's just a
That
jerk
one is always that
running
one
around.
guy. I mean, someone's going to mod Fallout 4 to do multiplayer anyway, right?
Well,
It's gonna
that's why Elder Scrolls Online kind of turned me off, because it lost the magic of exploring something on your own that Skyrim had.
Yeah, I mean, it's not what is it called, the hero ramp or whatever it is,
Yeah.
where in a game where you're by the end you're all saving deity.
Yeah, Fallout
can't have 20
Online. Elder Scrolls Online didn't make you feel special, I think, in the
Yes.
way that Elder Scrolls games do.
What if they just said, fuck it, Elder Scrolls 6, let's do it at E3?
Yeah, what's
They
next?
wouldn't.
What's the new
What would it be
what's the new
called?
world?
Elder Scrolls 6, Black Marsh.
Oblivion,
No, Black Marsh,
Black
that's where the
Marsh.
Argonians are from.
I don't
Oh my God!
but a
you're
whole
nerd.
marsh?
I like Black Marsh is where the Argonians are from.
But is it just a marsh?
Red Rock.
Is this
Yeah,
a-
but
is this small
Morrowind
marsh?
was one big swamp. That's where the Dark Elves are
I
from.
guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The Khajiit are from, the cat people are from,
What is happening?
This is great. This is great.
I don't know, I played a lot of
Mike
Skyrim.
is a closet Elder Scrollian. So we got Morrowind, we got Black Marsh, we got Cyrodiil, of course, which was Oblivion.
yeah.
Skyrim, Hammerfell.
So that's the thing. I don't think this would actually be named after the region, because if you look back at the games, it alternates. It was Daggerfall is the name of the place, but the one before that was Arena.
Yeah.
And then 3 was Morrowind, which is the region, but 4 was Oblivion, which was in Cyrodiil. 5 is
Okay.
Skyrim, which is where it's set. So
Oh my
according to that
God.
convention, I don't think 6 would be called Black Marsh. I think it would be Elder Scrolls Abyss or something. I
Nice.
don't know.
All right. There you go.
Do it.
Trademark
Take
it.
that.
Elder
Trademark
Scrolls
it.
gaping hole.
Exactly, yeah. Elder Scrolls 6 Orifice. I'd be into it.
Black Marsh would work for Orifice as well. Valenwood, Elsewhere, Hammerfell, and High Rock are the other ones. And of course, the Somerset Isle, which was an expansion pack, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
One of
something.
them.
There it is, right there. Look at it. It's great. And then we'll just end up in
Unbelievable.
Tamriel.
We'll just go to World of Warcraft land and Drano or everything. There it is, Andy.
Crossover expansion.
Elder Scrolls 6 Gondor.
All right, that's it. Okay. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for talking to me about the wonders of Bethesda.
Well, you forgot one game.
Oh, shit.
Battlecry.
Oh my God, I did. I did.
Everyone forgot Battlecry.
So what's the status? Because they did just say, oh, we're putting it on hold for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I did that feature last month about like where did all these games go?
Yes.
And when I talked to them, they gave me the same song and dance that they gave us back in the fall, which was like, we are evaluating Battlecry because we didn't like it and nobody liked it and we don't really know what to do with it. And like my theory is that, and that studio, Battlecry Studios, which was made to specifically make Battlecry, is now working on quote unquote multiple projects.
Really?
So my theory, what I've heard and what I think is happening is Battlecry Studios is now a support studio working on other games and supporting all of the other studios while Battlecry sort of sits in limbo and they try to figure out what to do with it, because they came out and they were like, oh, it's a hero shooter, but it's not. And they're too afraid to really call it a MOBA. Yeah. Nobody wants to call their game a MOBA because MOBAs are for nerds.
And then that third person.
and then that third person is just like, well, maybe like, I think right now it doesn't have one, a spot in the release schedule.
Yes.
If we're talking about all those games that we were talking about before. And two, I think maybe they're just not grasping it. And if that project goes away, I mean, I don't know if anyone will really miss it. Like, it looked really cool.
I mean, between Battleborn and Overwatch and Battlecry were kind of, to a lot of people were doing something similar, even though they weren't. They're doing something very similar.
Right.
Something new and similar, I guess. Yeah, it's a shame. There was the art director from Half-Life 2 was on that, right?
Yes.
It was, I forget the gentleman's name.
It kind of looked like Dishonored, right?
It kind of, like, I wouldn't be surprised
pretty.
if they were helping out on Dishonored, right?
Yeah, they probably are.
You kind of see. There you go. All right, Battlecry. Well, I guess it'll be a while before we hear something like that. Maybe we'll see some more of Bethesda's E3 2016 showcase. We will have to wait and find out. Thank you so much, Mike McHardy, Alex Ray Career, for coming on to talk to me about Bethesda. What do you guys think? What do you think is going to be shown at E3 2016 at Bethesda's little hideaway? Let us know in the comment box below.